Like, there's so many ways you could describe that, but firm and fast, firm and fast. Okay, we're
Firm
live.
and fast,
We're
man.
live.
What's going on, everyone? It's Adam with Grandstand Golf. Oh, looks like I might have been lost right away there.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
This is this is not a good start to the Masters. What's going on, everyone? It is Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. This is our live DFS show for the 2021 Masters. We're back in April, as it should be. First off, for the people joining us, thank you so much for that push to 1,000. We called it out for our tournament preview. We got there. Thank you for all the support. It really does mean a lot to us. We will be doing this video and then videos every night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern for showdown and round recap. So make sure to join us for those. Make sure to follow us, Grandstand Golf, at Grandstand Golf on Twitter. Make sure to follow us there. That's where we're going to be doing other stuff that's not on YouTube, so make sure to follow us there. And if you want to talk with us during the tournament, join our Discord. Link is below. Come chat. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Craig drops his memes and GIFs, and he thinks he's really funny, and other people
Yeah, I've
don't.
been a little absent from it, but there's been a lot of work to do, I feel like. So I'm definitely going to get in there and mix it up again this week. Nice to see you guys, Rob, Mike, Steve, Colts fan. I don't even know your actual name there, Peck, but we're not gonna wallow in Andrew Luck this week. We're moving forward. Yeah, so I mean, I guess we'll look at questions, but you just want to start jumping into this. So what all did you
Yes.
play this week?
So first off, I was going to say, if you're new to this is our Grandstand Golf model. It's live on our website. I think I have to point this way. It's live on our website. We're going to go through the entire player field, talk about how much we're playing someone, kind of in descending order through salary. If you want to talk about someone, throw their name out there, throw a question, this person or this person, but we might not get to it. I mean, if we're starting the 10Ks and you want to ask someone about 6,900, we're probably not going to talk about it, but throw questions out. We'll answer them as they come up or later when it kind of fits better with the show.
Yeah, gotcha. Nice to meet you, Big R. Yeah, I think so. First question here that I think jumps us right in. Thoughts on player pool size for 20 lineups? I think so. I have my player pool for 20 lineups. I think mine is too big, but I could not. I just couldn't get away from a lot of guys up top. So. I have 26 guys in my player pool, and I think that is larger than optimal, but that's what
Craig usually has a few more or a few less than me. I have 29 in my 20 max player pool. I don't get too concerned about that. If I want to fill someone in for a certain reason, I just kind of plug them into one or two lineups, and I don't get too concerned about it. My bigger concern, I'm going to probably talk about this a lot during the show, is how to be different, especially in a 500,000 person contest. For me this week, because I feel like I like a lot of chalky plays. They're chalky for a reason. I left salary on the board. That's what I tried to do. I left salary on the board, and I'll talk about that at certain kind of points in the show.
Yeah. What's your player pool size though? Did you say that?
29.
29.
29.
29, 26. I would say probably ideally you're in the low 20s, high teens,
Yeah.
but I think to do that you have to be very like that you're sort of getting the most combinations and all that kind of stuff. But no, I'm pretty happy with. I went a little bit different than I usually do. I've been trying to sort of go pick a few guys up top and then spread it out as you get into the lower salaries. But this week I just find that there's just. I mean, the Masters is awesome for so many reasons, but it is not awesome for the depth of the field. So, if this is a U.S. Open, if it's a PGA Championship, you've got so many interesting plays down there in the 6Ks. And I want to say I have four 6K players, but it's just not the depth of the field. That's not the strength of the tournament.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Any advice for two 50,000 plus entries? I think that's 50,000 plus.
Like it's the free entries. So you.
Yeah, I think Big R Colts fan kind of said it. Leave 200 to 300 salary on the table. I think that's a good way to have a good shot at being unique. Craig, not to rub it in your face, I just finished my rusty nail because I actually do have ice around here, and I also do have beer around here. I don't want to rub it in your face, but I'm going to also have a beer.
I was scrambling around. There's no beer in the house, and I forgot to make... We kind of have it's not a family drink, but it is a It's a cocktail, I guess
A
you'd
drink the
call it.
family likes.
But it's our family's go-to drink, and it's called a Rusty Nail. It's a mixture of Scotch and Drambuie, and it's sort of like the perfect comfort food drink. And I forgot to make ice, so I don't have one. And I'm in an older home with an older fridge, and it doesn't make my ice for me. So Adam's just been rubbing it in my face.
Rubbing it in your face.
Anyways,
Okay, I'm
let's jump
posting a
into
few
it.
things here.
Just starting at the top, 10K
Let's
plus.
go 10K plus. Yeah. And did you leave out anyone? First question.
Yes,
Okay. Talk about it. Who'd you leave out? Who's in your player
I
pool?
left out
Who's
one
not?
person. The guy right at the top.
DJ.
Yeah.
I knew it. Wow.
Do you want to hear why?
Yeah, I mean, because he has the best score ever at Augusta. Is that why? Or is it the fact that he's been the best player in the world for the last 6 months? Or is it the fact that he has a super high ball flight? Or the fact that he has no real weakness? What was the real reason you decided to leave him
Sorry,
out?
nice to see you, Ray. Glad to see you join us. So no, really, it's just I think that to me, he's essentially on the same tier as Rom and Bryson. I still think I would take Rom over those guys, but
Sure.
his putter has not been good. He has not so we look at, okay, if we're choosing between DJ or Rom or Bryson. Rom and Bryson have been putting up very good finishes over the past few months. It's not that DJ can't do well. It's just that if I'm splitting hairs, I think that he hasn't been putting great.
Yeah.
It's not that I have any real concerns about him is he going to be fine? Is he going to miss the cut? Well, I mean, I guess my bold prediction was he'd be outside
Yeah.
the top 10. But no, it's more just, do I think he's worth the highest salary? And would I rather do that than do other things? And I don't. So
Right.
ultimately, I did other things.
And it is $500 that you can get
Mhm.
elsewhere, right? So I completely get that. So DJ, Rom, Bryson, you know what? I guess, I mean, looking at my player pool, I went a little bit more um, balanced lineup. I got 10%, 10%, 10%.
So you want to hear balanced? My top 14 guys, I have the exact same percentage on.
That's absurd.
So
That makes no
I've got
sense.
20. Well, essentially, my plan this week, I am taking stands on my guys in the 7Ks. And then I'm trying to spread it out across all the guys. So I've got 20% on Bryson, JT, Rory, Xander, and Cantley. Oh, and Rom, sorry.
Okay. So yeah, if we're going past Bryson, I got 20% on JT. He's my highest above 10,000, which is interesting because I feel like I was getting a little bit of flack after our snake video and I said JT was
You
sick.
basically
But
full fade him.
no, I didn't full fade him at all. I like him more than Rory and Xander. And it's very easy to go JT, Spieth, and then get a little bit weird because that is chalky. A lot of people are talking about JT, just won the Players, best approach player in the game, blah 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 blah. JT can absolutely win this. So I get that. He's number one in our Grandstand Golf Model as well, in our model rankings.
Yeah, I do have to say though, I feel like Rom is being slept on.
I don't think he's being slept on at all. I mean, what do you want the public to say? That what's wrong that he didn't get a full?
Well, I
18
guess
holes
it's
in?
more
He's
in
completely
his
fine.
outright. Like I'm pretty sure in the outright, he's behind DJ, Bryson, Spieth. I like, to me, I don't know. I'm not being totally dismissive, and we'll get to Spieth. I know we will, but I'm not being totally dismissive of what he's done over the last couple months. But you put the top 10 players in the fields that, in the Valero, Texas, is Spieth still in it? Maybe, but it's a very different tournament than it was. It's
Yeah,
one thing beating
yeah, that's
Finau
fair.
and Scotty Scheffler and Charlie Hoffman and Corey Connors, and there's a lot of good golfers there, but we didn't have most of the top 30 golfers in the world. So
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. Okay, so rounding out to 10Ks, I have 10% Rory, 15% Xander. But there's a couple questions while they're kind of in the chat right now that I kind of want to chat. Do you want to talk Na or Palmer from Rat Tail John here? Because I have one in my player pool and I don't have one.
I have Palmer personally in my player pool. Do you have the
I
opposite?
also
Okay.
have Palmer. So if I'm going Palmer instead over
Is
Na.
Na also at 65?
I would have to double check here. Kevin Na
Yeah, he is.
is
I just like
65.
Palmer. I think Palmer's got a very versatile game. I think Kevin Na could easily get a high finish here. I mean, you look at what Ryan Palmer's done. It's just been super consistent, I think, as well, with some high
Yeah.
finishes mixed in at good fields. So I lean Palmer. That said, Kevin Na is an absolute killer when he gets hot. And so I
Yeah.
also think Kevin Na's ownership should be lower than Palmer. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
some talk about
Palmer
fading
hits it
Rory
high though, and he's
here.
putting it well.
Um, I
This,
am not fading Rory personally. I understand why people are fading him. I just think that he is. If it wasn't Rory McIlroy, we wouldn't think his form is as bad as it is. So
yeah,
he's getting it's Rory and he's playing so bad. Like, well, he's
yeah,
still top 10 in two of his last three. And then you look back, yeah, he missed the cut at Genesis, but then it was like top 20, top 20, top 10. Or no, that's a fifth place at the
at the
Masters
Masters.
that he almost came back to
Yeah,
win. Top 20, 21st, 10th, 10th. Like it's
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
it's just we expect more from Rory, so his bad seems worse. And he's awesome at this course. So I
It's
I'm
great at this
very
course.
bullish on. I don't know if anyone watched the Rory interview from the Masters, but I'm very bullish on Rory in the long term. I think he's on the right path now. I don't
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
think it's like from what he says, it's a process that they're going through and they're kind of taking it seriously as a long-term project. Maybe he finds lightning in a bottle and it clicks for him this week. But I'm gonna I mean I don't bet outright, but if I was 18, 19, like
Yeah,
man, I
yeah.
love those numbers. I'm such a Rory homer though, so that's probably needs to be.
Moving on from Rory, I want to talk a
Should
little
we
bit
stay on Rory for a
November.
bit more?
no, no, November Masters and this Masters. I think it's worth talking about because a lot of people did really well there that I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit. I think it's for sure softer than. I think it's a different course. I think there's no patrons. I think the pressure on Sunday especially. So for me going into this week, I kind of put that one as like, yeah, I took some notice in it. It's still the same golf course, but I did put that aside a little bit. And I think the pressure. So when you look at guys like Rory, who gets up with a crowd, like Brooks, who gets up with a crowd, even though, spoiler alert, I didn't play Brooks, but I think this Masters will fare better for them than say Sung J M or these other guys that really popped in the November Masters. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm not putting a whole lot of weight either way. I mean, I'm not overly weighing guys that did well there, but I'm not saying that they're not going to do well again. I do think
Yeah.
I think the biggest impact there's going to be a few. Obviously, the firmness of the course.
Yeah.
Hitting into greens, also hitting into fairways. Like traditionally, we think of it the right to left, and I think people who draw the ball have an advantage. When you can draw the ball and get more yardage out of it, and the fairway's firm than people who are going to hit the cut, I think that's an advantage. Conversely, hitting into greens is maybe the opposite, where you want to be hitting the higher shot that you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously a lot of these guys can hit all the shots, but I mean DJ's hitting a fade all the time. So I think potentially. Maybe the one thing I give the bump to is I think that you could go into Augusta in November as a less experienced player at
Totally.
Augusta
And there
National
was
and
there
do
was a
well
lot of
because you
kind of
can go
first,
at
second timers.
pins.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
soft, it's going to receive it. You don't need to know how this is going to bounce. And actually, the target you're hitting to, it's going to bounce 10 feet in the air after it hits there and end up
Yeah.
somewhere you don't want it to be. But anyway, so should we keep moving on through the field here?
I was just gonna say one thing. I don't put too much weight into stats because I feel like it's
It's just
hard with the
period.
kind
You
of
don't put
sample.
weights in.
Well, like the other thing too is like when people say it's fast screens or very fast screens, I want to be like, okay, well, how many rounds have they played? What is the definition of fast and very fast? I think pump the brakes on that.
Well,
But
I
when I
think
was
these
looking at
pros
stats,
have played quite a few, and so like their definition of fast, I'll
yeah,
take their word.
I did look at like definitely high ball flights and scrambling around the green a little bit more. If they are like concrete or like hitting onto a car hood, like people have said, then you need good to be
So
good
you got
around the
some
greens.
Apex numbers to throw at me, or what? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, you got the Brysons, you got the Kokrak's, you got the Palmers, you got the Rorys, you got the
JT,
Webb hits it high.
JT.
Not the Burgers, not the Neemans,
Yeah.
but
So I think we're good to move on though. Let's get into the
yeah, for
9K
sure.
because I mean I guess the one guy we didn't really talk on was Xander, but I'm high on Xander as always.
I think I think it's a good
So
leverage
you
play.
broke up there a bit.
I think. Sorry, whoa, I'm
You're
dancing
good.
around again. I think he's a good leverage play. I have 15% of him. I think he is being slept on this week for sure.
Yeah. I think his ownership may actually creep up there a bit just because to me I think for a lot of people, I mean, besides Spieth, maybe Xander, you feel like you can get value going as high as Xander without having to potentially go higher, you know? So
Yeah.
I'd say that would be where like Xander and then I lump Cantlay into that boat as well. I'm very high on Cantlay. I actually had him at 25%. But then I had to shuffle some things around, so
Yeah,
he
I have
dropped
some
back to 20.
heavy ownership here. Do you want me to talk about the guys I have and don't have? Just
Yeah,
kind of
let's
going
do
in
the whole
order.
9K range because there's not that many there. So
Okay,
run through
so
who you have.
I have Cantley, no Morikawa. I got Spieth, no Reed, no Brooks. I got Tony and I got Webb.
So we
Is that
are
everyone? Did I miss someone?
no,
What happened
that's
there?
it.
Okay,
So I actually faded a couple of those guys.
let's hear it.
Let me see
Let's
here.
hear it. Tell me who you got, who
I
you
have
don't have.
Cantlay, Morikawa, Spieth, Patrick Reed, Brooks. I just faded Finau, I guess. I faded Finau, and I have Webb.
Faded now.
Yeah. So I have
Okay.
20% on all of them. I kept it flat through this range.
Here,
And essentially, so for me, the one I guess planting my flag on is the fate of Finau, and I
yeah, I think
just
that's interesting.
the fact that you the week before you didn't putt well and you didn't drive it well, I don't like that. So I mean, I don't know. This one could bite me, but essentially, I at the top I've picked against DJ and Finau, um, and other than that, I've planted my flags down low. But that's essentially what I'm staking my 20 max on.
I think it's uh yeah, I mean it's your call. I think it's funny going from 50% one week to zero the
Maybe
next.
that's
I think
it probably is a little bit of an
yeah,
emotional fade.
I love the fact that Finau's been fifth year and 10th year in the two April editions that he has played. I
Yeah,
think this course sets up well for him.
I agree. The one thing, if I was looking into it a bit more, what was his form like coming in? I mean, his form's not bad, but it's two miscuts in a row.
Yeah, we can't
Um,
get too micro here. Like we're talking about 4 rounds of golf that we're discounting the guy
so
on.
so yeah, but the if he's as inaccurate as he is off was last week, and I mean, I think your argument is that a single range session can fix that.
Totally.
But I don't know. I'm probably discounting him because of what we saw last week. But
So let me talk ownership a little bit because this is where I went a little bit crazy.
yeah,
The highest I went on anyone was 35, and I have a few 35 percenters. So Patrick Cantlay, I have 25%. Jordan Spieth, I have 35%. I'm buying it. I'm probably going to be
so sorry, what
over
was Cantley?
25.
Okay, and then Spieth was.
Spieth is 35, and then both Finau and Webb are 35.
So you got heavy ownership here.
I got heavy ownership here. That's why I only have 10 up above on
Yeah,
most of
yeah,
those
yeah.
guys.
Yeah, so I went a little more balanced, I guess, with guys up higher, and then I sacrificed in this range compared to you. And then I also I kept Colin Morikawa in, which to me he just has win equity. I think I understand a lot of the arguments against him, but
Yeah,
he
yeah,
is so good at what he does that if his putter shows up, I mean he could win this thing.
yeah. I agree.
And then I
I
think
completely agree.
Reed, you also said you faded, correct?
Yeah, so click on Reed for a second because I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but outside of his win, I was going to say it's not spectacular here. Like he doesn't have the best, kind of comparable to a Westwood even, or a Rose or a Day, like these guys that are real horses or
Yeah,
courses.
but to me,
Reed
that's
just
that's
won
sort
here.
of Patrick Reed. Like Patrick Reed is not a top 10, 8 events in a row, top 10s, top 20s. He'll miss cut and then he'll come back and win and then he'll be 30th and then he'll, like that's
Yeah.
sort of, I feel like who Patrick Reed is. So essentially, I'm playing a little bit defensively with some of those where if Reed, I think so. The other argument I had for Reed is I think Spieth. It sounds like most people are saying Brooks. They're fading Brooks, but I think Brooks is going to attract ownership at 9,200. So I think Spieth and Brooks are going to attract a lot of ownership
I think Brooks will
compared
get.
to Patrick Reed.
I think, yeah, compared to Patrick, I think Brooks will get 10, 12, like not a ton. I think people have concerns about his knee,
I'll take that. I mean, it's just
and
win
I do,
equity.
and I do. Like, I think
You have
this,
concerns?
as Stephen Davis has said, he's been to the Masters twice. We know our parents have been there. Like, it is one of the most, I mean, probably brutal walks to do on a golf course. Like, how much elevation change, how many side slopes, all of
But
that.
if so, are you concerned he's not going to make it through the week, or are you concerned that his quality of play is not going to be there?
I mean, I feel like that's not entirely different. I feel like he'll
Like, do you
fatigue
think
over.
he's physically he's going to get injured and withdraw?
No, 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 no,
You
no.
think that it's just going to be the quality of play isn't going to be
Yeah, I
what.
don't think many people can pull a Tiger Woods and win a U.S. Open on a broken leg. And I'm
But
putting
of any of the golfers, who would you say could?
it would be
Like it would potentially be Brooks.
it could be Brooks.
Like in terms of, so say you have a golfer who's going to play not in their best. I mean, he's a great like no expectations. There's no reason to have any expectations about him. And then come the end of the week, you're like, well, like obviously Brooks was going to win it. Like how did we not
Yeah,
see that
yeah,
coming?
yeah,
That's
for
sort
sure.
of how I feel about it. But again, there's a ton of risk baked into that. It's just like for me, it's Brooks and Finau. There's tons of risk baked into both of them, and it's just different kinds of risk. But
Yeah, I was gonna say Patrick Reed, but I don't know why. I just feel like
yeah,
despite everyone,
just
would
out
do
of
it.
sheer spite.
Patrick, your ankle is completely dislocated from the like. Yeah, I got it. Don't worry. Yeah,
Okay, so and I think we're both high on Webb. I think Webb is just seems like value at 9,000.
yeah, yeah.
Probably less for me. It's less win equity with Webb and more just I think he's got a huge amount of high finish, top 10, top 5 type stuff.
Peck brings up a good point. He played Brooks in his one tier. I did that with a couple picks. Both I guess both guys in the AKs here. If we want to rip through it, so I have no Lee Westwood. I have no Hideki Matsuyama, but we talked about it in our tier show as pivots I like. And I went there as a little bit of a FOMO play. Like, yeah, throw them in tiers, and then maybe you can
Yeah, so
get
probably
some.
my big one. I'm starting to get into a lot of fades here now in the 8Ks. But one of my full
Yeah, me
fades
too.
in my 20 max pool is Terrell Hatton. And I was just telling
Yeah,
Adam before we
yeah,
came on here, I ended up with him in 3 of my 5 snakes because he's just plummeting like a rock. Like people are taking him after Neiman, Day, Usti, Scott. Like he is falling way down the draft board. So I'm like, well, like I don't mind Hatton that much. That said, I'm not going to pay 89 for him when I can get Webb
yeah.
for 9. But still, I'll take him. I mean, I got him in third. I think I might have got him in a.
Got him in the third round. I think the one we sent out to the Discord.
Yeah, I got Brooks, Rom Brooks, Hatton, like
Okay, so
that.
I'm gonna rip through the AKs here. Full fade Hatton, full fade Lee Westwood. I got some Vic
Oh, the
Hovland,
full fade on Lee. That
full fade
hurts,
on
eh?
Lee.
The
Yeah, I
price,
mean,
price just.
if he comes back in 2023 and he's 7K again, I would love to play him because he is a beast at this course. But at 8,800,
Yeah.
yeah, and he's played well. I mean, I don't know.
No, I think it's the right move. To me, if he was priced in the high sevens, it's a different story. But
Yes.
his price has escalated so much in the
And
last
that's where he
month.
should be. He should be
Yeah,
with Adam Scott. He should be with Sergio. He should be with those guys.
yeah.
Vic Hovland, I have no Sung J M. That's what I was talking about. Fading the November Masters. I'm not buying it. Fading Sung J M. I got some Daniel Berger. I'm fading Scotty Scheffler. I'm fading Hideki Matsuyama. I'm on Cam Smith a little bit. I'm on Matt Fitzpatrick and a full fade of Tommy Fleetwood.
We're actually not too dissimilar here. So I faded Hatton Westwood, have Hovland, faded Sungjae, have Berger, faded Scotty, faded Hideki, have Cam Smith, Fitzpatrick, and I have Fleetwood. Or sorry, no, I faded Fleetwood. Is that exactly the same?
I think from at least Hovland down. Did he fade Sung Jae?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is the
Man,
same.
great minds. So
Great
essentially, I
minds
have
are going to
Hovland,
be
Berger, Smith, and Fitzpatrick.
Hovland, Berger, Smith, and Fitzpatrick. Yes, same
So,
here.
so I guess we'll chat about those four and why we like them. And if anyone wants to hear us chat about why we don't like the other guys, then just let us know who in the chat there.
I mean, yeah, real quick. I mean, Hovland, I have 25%. I think he's just a stud. I mean, I think he's a fantastic player.
Yeah, I don't love the last couple from him, but it's also like if that's his bad week, then I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Uh, Berger, I had him as a pick on our show. I just think he's tremendous value. I think he's under. I don't know. I don't even know if he's underpriced, but to me,
I think he is.
it just feels like he's such a he's sort of like a poor man's Webb, and he should be priced kind of right under Webb. Where like I don't know if he maybe has a ton of win equity here, but I feel like he's got a ton of top 10, top 15 equity.
So that's a great point. I talked about this at the beginning of the show, leaving salary on the board. So you built your roster with 5 guys and you have 9,000 left for your 6th person. Do you think it's really not possible that Berger does better than Webb? So instead of going Webb and filling out and maxing out your salary, go down to Berger, who I mean,
or go down to Hovland and leave 300
or Hovland. But like, really, is it that unrealistic that they're going to outperform Webb or Finau or Hatton?
Yeah.
Like, why not?
I totally
why not
agree.
just go down to Berger?
I mean, depending a lot on the size of pool you're playing as well.
I'm talking huge GBPs. I'm talking
yeah.
huge GBPs.
I mean, essentially all the ones you get this week. So for me, these are all 20 percenters. I have my everyone is 20% until we get to Matt Fitzpatrick, and then he is 25. So that's when I start to increase my exposures here.
Yeah. So I went a little bit heavier on Berger. I got 30% Berger, so he's one of the higher guys in my pool for sure. I went down on Cam Smith. I thought actually Cam Smith was going to be a fade for me, but then as I was building my pool, he kind of fit nicely. I wanted to diversify a little bit from Matt Fitzpatrick, so I got 10% Cam Smith and then Matt Fitzpatrick.
I think you're going to be underweight on Cam Smith at 10%.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And it is. I plan to be underweight. Again, it's hype from 6 or 4 rounds in the 60s last year, kind of the hype from last year.
Yeah, because I think potentially, I think Matt Fitzpatrick, Cam Smith, I think those are going to be very popular. I need someone in this mid-range that's worth it. I don't really like Hideki. I don't really like Scheffler. I guess maybe you could make an argument for some of those older ball strikers right below him. But I think there's a lot of appeal to Cam Smith and Matt Fitzpatrick. So whenever I feel like that's the case and they comfortably fit into lineups, then I think that they're going to get a lot of ownership.
Gerard said, I mean, you guys should do an additional lineup after the show, take some information from the chat, talk things through. I actually love that. As soon as I'm talking, like, you can build your lineups in like privacy and do it on your own, and then explaining it to the Craig and to the rest of the world, I'm like, wait, why do I have that? Why aren't I kind of pivoting a little bit? And I will pivot a little bit after the show, or reserve one, knowing after the show, I'm like, why do I have no Matsuyama? Like, it is Hideki. He is one of the best ball strikers here, and he has played well here. I think that's a great point.
Yeah. So Hideki, I mean, his course form, Hideki could be a bit of a steal here if he decides to show up. He's got a good history here. Um, it's the problem for me with Hideki is we haven't seen high finishes. It's not like he's been that bad. It's just we need to see him pop a bit.
Yeah,
Scheffler,
for sure.
I think there's tons of question marks with Scheffler right now.
Yeah, yeah,
So I stayed away there. Sung Jae, I agree with you. I don't like the value there. If he was low eights, I would have considered it, I think.
yeah, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, so I think that takes. Oh, and Tommy Fleetwood. What's your rationale here?
I don't see. I'm blanking on Tommy Fleetwood all of a sudden, but he has no wins in the
He has no
US.
wins. It's just to me, it's just a little bit of a value. He hasn't been playing great. He hasn't been playing
Yeah,
extremely poorly or anything. It's just I don't know if like I like Jason Day at 75 and Uzi at 75 better than like Tommy at 8, and so, I like
yeah,
Paul Casey at 77 more than Tom. So that's where
yeah.
I was ended up on that.
He doesn't seem like he can pop for a win, and he also doesn't seem safe for a top 20 like Tommy Fleetwood.
Well,
Like
honestly, I think someone in the top 10, essentially, maybe top 15, is going to win this tournament. So
yeah, I think that's fair.
so that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think that's a bold claim to make, but so that said, I'm looking for the guys I think I can complete lineups with to go along with them, and this is where I then
Yeah.
really tightened up my pool, and so guys like Fleetwood that I just didn't love the value on. Um, Sorry, I'm gonna get to this question
So
here.
there's a couple things in the chat here. Roger says, great show, fellas. Keep on keeping on. Roger, you keep on keeping on.
Yeah, we
No
appreciate you.
Fleetwood here. David Porter, have you factored in greenskeeper being mad about low scores last year? What golfers are best for potential changes to the course? We talked about that a little bit on our podcast.
I
My
do
bold
appreciate
prediction was,
both Adam and I have worked maintenance, so I do appreciate the factor in the
yeah,
greenskeepers being mad. I don't think Augusta National just lets them put pins in like really stupid spots just because they're pissed off about the scoring from last time.
here
But
is a 45-degree angle slope.
yeah,
um,
but I
but
do
my bold,
think so more generally, like the competition committee, I think they call it here. I do think that they want to demonstrate that
this has teeth.
when it's
Augusta has
April and
balls.
they have everything ticking, that they are going to control scoring at this course more
Yeah.
than was the case. So I think if you want to call that the greenskeepers being mad, then I think we are going to see a bit of a reaction to the November Masters.
And on that note, my bold prediction was only, I think I said 10 guys would be under par at the end of the tournament.
I think that is bold. I
I think
don't
that's a little
buy
extreme.
that. I think it's too bold. But I would say maybe a similar bold prediction would be like, say, minus 10 to 12, minus 10-ish is
Yeah,
the winning
sure.
score, Okay, anyways, continuing on.
15 irons into 15 are going to be interesting to watch, apparently. And
Oh, yeah, it's rock hard. Yeah, I mean, 15 is
I
always
love it.
that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk top half of the 7Ks. So
Let's go 79 to 70. What?
75, including
Okay, fine.
75s.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I got Sergio. I got a ton of ownership here. I got Sergio. I got No Bubba. I got Paul Casey. I got Adam Scott. I got Jason Day. I got Louis.
So sorry, were you a fade on any of them?
Bubba.
Oh, you missed Baba. Okay, so I am starting to limit myself here now. Paul Casey, Jason Day, Louis Oosthuizen. That is
Okay.
it.
Whoa.
No Sergio, no Bubba, no Adam Scott.
No Adam Scott.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I have 25 on Casey, 25 on Day, 20 on Oosti, and that is it.
So, yeah, I got tons of ownership here. I got 30% Sergio. Paul Casey, I got 35%, but I know he's going to be chalky. I get that. I know he's going to be chalky.
I mean, you'll get overweight at 35, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll get overweight. Again, leaving salary on the table. That's what I did. I left salary. Adam Scott, 30%. Jason Day, 30%. Louis Oosthuizen, 20%.
Sorry, just real quick, Gerard, we have never ordered something from the Master Store, but our parents went probably 5-ish years ago. I've got a hat kicking around here somewhere. Um, oh, what do you got there? Oh, 1 week in April, the Masters. We've got like ball marks and other random little things like that. So
Yeah, I love my ball mark.
I lost mine.
Man, I drop mine at least 2 times around.
It
And
fell
I like,
out. It fell out. You know, like when
yeah.
it falls out into the golf cart and then you lose it there. Yeah. Damn.
So let's pause there for a second. We got a couple questions about Bobby Mack. Robert McIntyre, one of Kevin's boys, lefty, Scottish lefty. We've been high on him for his European, leading into the Aphrodite Showdown when he won. Craig,
Bobby Mack does not show up in the automatic search. 6,500. Yep.
did you get there?
I did not. I don't mind the play. My concern with Rob, like I think he fits. Like the lefty, he's good off the tee. He gains a lot of strokes off the tee.
Yeah.
The problem I have is I don't love his approach game of recent when I was looking into it. And so I do think he's maybe I wouldn't be surprised if he overachieved for a first timer. I just didn't really want to stake.
Yeah.
Like I was putting that weight on Palmer.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I went Palmer or Lanto in this range.
Me too. So
In this, that's why, like, kind of at the top of the show, I'm leaning a little bit more experience here. I love Bobby Mack long term. I hope he plays here 10 plus times. I love his approach. I love that he's lefty. Like everything kind of.
I would absolutely love it. Like I'm gonna be cheering for him. I like Bobby Mack.
Yeah.
So I just didn't get there as a sleeper. I think he's a good, like I think he is an upside sleeper. He's the kind of guy you should be looking for. It's just so essentially the way I went about building my lineups, I spread it wide up top, and then I have to take a stand on guys down low. So I didn't get there.
When we get to the 6K range, like I have very few. But I did. PY interested. What's that relative to par? I am bad with math here. Craig, you're the math guy. 270. PY asked 278.5 total score over under on DK Sportsbook.
What's a par 72?
Where's my calculator?
I have a calculator right in front of me.
72 times.
I think it's 278, isn't it?
288.
288.
So that's minus 9.5.
I like the under.
Like you like minus 9, minus 8?
No, I mean I like 277.
Oh, right.
I think it gets 210.
I think that's a good line they put out.
Yeah,
I like that line.
I think I would take the under if I could bet on the DK Sportsbook, which I cannot in Canada.
I also cannot
in your region of Canada. Okay, so I mean we're both high on Day, we're both high on Usti. Adam Scott I got away from. I just don't love where his game's at right now. I think it is probably value though.
Yeah, I mean, I probably got a little bit carried away with Adam Scott, but I like so many guys in this range. I didn't want anyone to get up to 50%. I really didn't want anyone to get 40%. So when I was plugging in, I got 77 left. Okay, maybe I go down to Adam Scott, or I got 79.
I don't mind Adam Scott at all, actually. He seems like a very safe pick here, which is why I put all mine on Neiman.
I mean, Craig, we're getting a little bit of crap in the chat here for Greg was like the physics nerd back in the
Yeah, it's like a math competition person, but it's really hard to do math.
It's on video and live, and
I honestly can't do 72 times 4 in my head right now. I could if I thought about it, but it's hard to think.
140, double that, then 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, 288. That's how it works.
Okay, but let's get back to this. So we good with the 75 and up?
Yeah, I like a lot of the guys.
Okay, so
I say this most shows. This is what's going to define the area. I think you got to get the right guy here. It's someone between Casey, Scott, Day, and Usti. One of those guys is going to be top 15, we'll call it, top 10.
Sorry, what was that?
Casey, Scott, Day, and Usti. One of those guys is going to be a top 15, top 10. You got to get the right one.
Yeah, I think that's fairly safe. I mean, one of those vets is going to pop. It's just a matter of who. So this is where I start to take my stands. So do you want me to go?
Sure. I'm pretty thin here.
So I only have 4 guys: Neiman,
Okay.
Answer, Zalatoris, Homa. But I have 30% on Neiman, Answer, Zalatoris, and 25 on Homa.
Yeah, that's bold. I think that's bold on Homa for sure. I only have 3. So I have Neiman. I bought into that.
Mm-hmm.
I have Zalatoris. I definitely bought into Zalatoris. I feel like you got in my head. I go against the first timers, but Zalatoris
Is good at golf.
fit. He's good at golf. His approach game is good. I don't feel like he will be, as a first timer, I just have more confidence in him than most, I guess. So I got quite heavy there. And my third in 75 to 7,000. Craig, did you hear me through that?
Yeah.
My last play here is Justin Rose, and I have 10% of him.
Oh, yeah. I saw you take him in that snake draft we were in together. I was like,
Man, why not?
because he just withdrew what was that, 3 or 4 weeks ago? And then withdrew from a tournament right at the start of it. If he was coming in healthy, then I would buy the experience, but I don't love the, what is it? It's a back too, isn't it?
I don't think.
Okay, so if an injured golfer is going to win this, do you like injured Justin Rose or do you like injured Brooks Koepka? I mean,
So I don't have the source off the top of my head, but I was searching Justin Rose. I was looking at the news. I think it might have been a British paper. I'm not sure, but I feel like his quote said he's not injured. He's just been.
That he's essentially.
It's been different stuff.
Worked out the.
Yeah. He's not injured right now. He's working out different stuff. He's working with his swing coach. We saw that on the range, on the Monday, Tuesday live with the Masters kind of stuff.
I didn't see that. He looks like he's hitting the ball nicely though.
I don't know. He's got his gimmicks on, like Rory McIlroy or whatever Tin Cup's name is. He's got the tennis ball under his arm. He's working out stuff. His course record here is just ridiculous though. So I only have 10%.
I think his ownership's going to be low. So I think it's a good differentiating play.
And I mean, who have I talked about? I've talked about like Cantlay and Spieth and Casey. Like I got to be different, and Rose is one of them.
Yeah, I don't have much faith in. I mean, there's just so many things about it to me. So I think the argument you can make is that he can show up here and he can use experience and expertise. But I mean, we haven't seen great play from him. He was playing well at the Arnold Palmer except for those holes that didn't count on his scorecard, and because he withdrew after making however many 8s in a row it was. But yeah, I just don't like it. But that's fine. I don't have to like it. Okay.
Sure. Did you think Rory McIlroy was? Are you talking about Rory? What?
Rory in his 40s?
Are we talking about the same Rory?
No, he's very mature and he's been around for a long time. So
me and him are 2 days apart, and I think we're both equal maturity.
Maybe that's why they thought Rory was in his 40s.
I think equal life accomplishments as well.
I don't know if I would. I mean, yeah, you both have a daughter
and a wife,
and that's the most important thing. So, okay, so Neiman, Zalatoris, we're both on the same page. I actually think I'd have to look this up because I don't have it in front of me here, but I think I went to Horschel over on FanDuel. I think his price over there is pretty good.
Okay.
But then Homa. So Homa is the other guy I have here that you don't. I think his really recent form is really good, and so I'll take that stand on. If you compare him to the guys around him, I think he's a little bit of value. So yeah. I went there. I think he's a good ball striker. I think he's been putting well.
The one guy I almost went back to here to be a little bit different was Harris English.
See, so I ended up with Harris in
some snakes, didn't you?
At least one snake, because he's falling in those.
I think his ownership's going to be rock bottom. So we get a guy who's won this year at a course that people like to compare, Kapalua, with its angles. And I think if you click on Harris, excuse me.
Sorry, I was just reading the chat.
I mean, he has one good tournament under his belt.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's fine. One of the questions I have, so Harris, so I think Harris is not as bad as his slump, but I don't think he's as good as his hot streak over that last year. But he doesn't
I think
need
that's
to
a fair
be
point.
that good to be
He's
value at
73.
7,300. He was playing like stupidly good there for a while. So
He can be the last man in on balanced lineups. He can be, fifth one in on.
and him getting a top
Stars and
20 wouldn't
scrubs.
surprise me. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I like it. I like Homa more. I like, what is he, 73? I like Zalatoris a lot more. So
Yeah, and that's I kind of piled all my ownership at Zalatoris.
yeah. Okay, so then we get into the 6Ks.
Oh, I paused there for a sec. Let's see if I can get my video going. I think I'm back. Thank you guys for all joining us. Hit that thumbs up while we're here. Craig, let's jump into 6Ks.
Yes. So this is my highest owned guy on the ticket. You know where I'm
where's
going?
Your mouse here?
Sorry?
No, wait. Where? Oh, Corey Connors. Nope.
Corey Connors.
He's the highest owned guy you have.
Yeah. It feels like mispriced to me. So I like him. I want to be overweight on him. I went 80. No, I'm just kidding. 35%. So nothing outlandish.
Oh, okay.
It's just everyone essentially. I was trying to put guys. I would have gone potentially up to 40-ish if it was the way it worked out building lines. But Corey Connors, his form's awesome. He played well here. I know it's going to be different than 2020, but to me, it's still better than if he didn't have a good result in 2020. So. I just like him. I got him as my last guy into some lineups. I have him with, a few ones there where I stacked guys. I have him, Corey Connors, I think is my third cheapest guy. So I did some different things down here in the sixes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the chat is kind of what the public is going to be. There's some people very high on Connors like you. There's some, Tom M says Connors chalk week. And I think, low salary, 6K chalk never seems to work out that well. I think Corey Connors could be one of the most highly owned people here. But me saying that, I do have him in 20%. And I feel like that's going to be less than the field.
I think PY has it. I think PY has it right. If Connors was not a Canuck, if he was American, he'd probably be like 7,800. No, and Nick Zabel, Kokrak, I definitely have Kokrak as well. I've got 25.
Kokrak is a Canadian boy.
Kokrak, yeah, he is. He's a
Thunder Bay.
Thunder Bay. I think he moved when he was a couple years old or something like that. But
is he ashamed of it? We should try to get him on he'll be our first player interview and be like, why do you not identify?
Why? Yeah. He doesn't identify as Canadian. Kokrak, I'm definitely on Kokrak. I have 25% there. I think he has been playing well. He has, he's got a driver and he's got a putter. And, what more do you need? So this is not including...
Wedges and irons.
All right. Yeah, bring your whole bag there. But, I like it.
He's actually from North Bay, which, looking at a map, is quite a ways away from Thunder Bay.
Is that like Hudson's Bay?
It's on a lake.
Okay.
Nipissing Lake.
So it's in Ontario?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So Kokrak for me is 25%. I'll just run through my last two. I've already mentioned them. Ryan Palmer is 6,500. I have him at 25%. And Lanto Griffin is 64, and I have him at 25 as well.
Nice. Okay, so I got Connors at 20%. I got Kokrak at 10. I got Leishman at 10. I got Matt Kuchar. Someone was talking about Kuchar. Robert was talking about Kuchar at 25%. I have Kuchar at 10%. I love kind of the recent spike in form and the course history. I feel like this is going to be a little bit chalky. I went Siwoo Kim at 67. I have him at 10%. Going down a little bit further, 6,500, I have Ryan Palmer at 15%, and Lanto Griffin is the last person in my pool at 15%. a lot of people are talking about Brian Harman. I feel like that's the popular pivot off Connors or Kokrak. Thoughts on,
I mean,
any of those guys? I said Siwoo
you
or
know I'm a Brian
Brian
Harmon
Harman.
guy. I like Brian
Yeah.
Harmon. I think there's a couple things. So I like Brian Harmon generally. I don't know if it is the best course for him just because of the demand of distance. I think so. He has played like I think a lot of people are looking at the Players Championship and being like, okay, this guy has just recently top three or tied for three in a very good field. Um,
Yeah.
and projecting that onto Augusta. I do like it. I think that expecting a top 10 from Brian Harmon is a big ask here. He's got a good short game. He's a good putter. I just
Uh, yeah. Sorry.
I see him
That was
more
your. I
as
feel like you're.
a on a course like TPC Sawgrass where you need to be accurate. You need to yeah, you need to be doing it just asks different things of you as a golfer, I
Yeah.
guess is as easily as I can say it. And so for me, I much prefer Kokrak as a pivot. If you're looking away from Connors, I like Kokrak more because I
Yeah.
think what Augusta asks of you, he has shown us a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. So there's one thing I really liked in here. Tom T said Berger will be, all caps, will be in the winning lineup. I want to hear, we just went through the player pool. I want to hear bold predictions. If you're in the chat right now, throw a bold prediction for 2021. It can be for the Masters. It can be DFS. It could be unrelated, winning score. Just, I want to hear a bold prediction because I love that kind of stuff. Like, plant your flag.
Yeah, a couple others. Kisner is the guy I ended up with a couple times in snakes, not in these. I'm just talking about guys where I
Yep.
had to pick guys. So I do, I ended up liking his value. Um, Ortiz was another guy I arrived at a couple times in snakes. It felt to me like he was falling further than he should. He might be decent value at 65. I haven't gone back and looked at potentially adding any of these, but he
Right.
hits he hits the ball a long ways. He's a good ball striker. He can putt. It's just a matter of consistency, I think. So
Yeah.
potentially a good GPP play, but you have to be prepared for it to sink your ticket, I think.
Yeah. So
And then
there's a couple
Mackenzie
things.
Hughes I have in snakes, but I didn't. I
Yeah.
thought about getting there in DFS. I don't think it's a safe enough play. Where I felt
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
have to pick
That makes
someone, then and the guys that I wanted to pick were gone. I was happy to take him, but I like Lonto at 6,400 better, and I like Hughes at 63.
We got a question. Roger Johnson asked about Perez, and then Peck just followed up. Perez played the November, made a cut, did well in PGA, and then well in the WGC match play.
Yep, he did. And we don't have match play on here. He did well at Sawgrass. I think he's fine play. I think he'll be different. I don't think he's going to be very highly owned. I
Yeah,
don't
I
have
just went
his.
elsewhere.
Yeah.
I think he got a price bump because of the match play. He's probably more appropriately in this 67, 66 range, with the Siwoos, with the Munos, with the Kisners, with the Fratellis. I think he's probably more appropriate in that range.
Okay, we got some hot takes here. Spieth wins 2 majors. That you got to be a little bit more out there on a limb. Like, come on.
Like this week or what?
Like at least say he's going to win 3 or 4, or it's not even a bold prediction. Siwoo Kim, best Asian. So let me see here. Are we talking Asian born in Asia, or like are we including the Colin Morikawas in there? It's a bold take regardless, I think. Homa
Yeah, with
top 15, Big R. I like it. JT. It's not super bold, John Rattail, but
I
it's a
following up
winner.
with the
Yeah, yeah,
Sergio
yeah. That is a
first
bold
round
one.
leader, Ratel John. I like that.
I mean,
Um,
you like that, but you also just like that. Like you want to see that.
yeah, a little bit of both. A little bit of both. Brendan Todd, we haven't got much to talk about
Oh,
him.
so I
Brendan
do
Todd
have.
finishes top 20.
I ended up with him at least in one snake. Um, he's down in that range where you're kind of at the point where you have to pick
Yeah.
someone.
But Zayden Hout, I think, has the kind of like Mackenzie Hughes. He has a short game to hang with
Yeah.
it for as long as he can. Um, Again, good recent results, so he won't be. He's not chalky by any means, but
No.
um,
Uh,
he's a fine
I
play. I like Baz. I like Baz.
Yeah, I think he's a savvy play. Like I think
Yeah.
I give him a pretty good chance of making the cut compared to some other people around him. What I worry about, and this is where like it depends on. I mean, his ownership's going to be low, so yeah, I like the Bez play. I'm happy. No, I don't even think I have him there. Raw miscut calling it. That is not the kind of bold prediction we're looking for, Tom.
I love it. That's bold. That is bold. Yeah, guys, it's gonna be a great week. I mean, it's the Masters in April. This is gonna be
Yeah.
it's a coverage we all wish for. It's a coverage we get. Download the app.
Did you make your fantasy team on the app? Sorry, Adam, you froze there for a second. Did you make your fantasy team on the app?
I did.
Yeah. I feel like do you win Masters tickets or anything good, or is it
I
just
looked at
like
the
a
terms. You know what, Craig? I've won a couple contests in my day. I've won some radio contests. Like I got this little lucky thing going
yeah,
for me.
yeah,
I
yeah.
win contests, but it's only open to
I thought that might be
US.
the case.
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay,
Imagine if he could have
here's the
finished.
bold
He's like
prediction.
up.
Kepka going
Yeah.
down on 18th hole for the win, but he blows out his knee on his approach shot and doesn't finish. I think he's finishing that. I think he's going full Philip Rivers and what
No,
Philip
he's
Rivers
going
played
like
in.
who's that Marshall quarterback that got carried by his lineman?
Oh, that was Byron
Byron
Leftwich.
Leftwich.
Yeah,
He'll
yeah.
get carried up by the two caddies that
No,
are on.
didn't Philip finish or like start?
Yeah.
I think he started the game with a torn ACL.
Both him and LT had their knees blown out. Philip played. LT had his
But
mask on.
it was the freaking Patriots, wasn't it? So they're
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, there's vitriol between
Oh,
LT and the Patriots back then.
those Schottenheimer Chargers, man, they were so good.
Yeah,
Ah.
what could have been? Yes, that is. I don't even think that's a bold take there, Tom. The Discord memes are going to be spicy. And
Miscut by Fino, that would make me sad. And almost half my lineup sad as well.
yeah, okay. I like the bold takes. I think
This has been
the
great.
boldest is Brooks going down. The only thing that I think you've missed is that he finds a way. He gets up there and he finishes it on one leg. What about the rain? We were chatting about that the other day. It looks like there is sort of a potential. It doesn't look like from a DFS point of view it's favoring one side or the other. That's still your stance, Adam?
Yeah, I actually, most tournaments I do some kind of AM PM split, at least one or two lineups in 20. Nothing for me here. Absolutely nothing for me here. I think they can control the scores as much as anybody. Any course.
Yeah, and wind, I'm not seeing a huge
It picks up in the afternoon.
both days, so it
spicy on
looks like
Saturday.
so it looks like it's going to be. I'm looking more. Is there a one side of the field advantage, and I don't see one. So
No.
it's not going to affect how I mean, the one thing that I always say, if it potentially is a split, then take guys you want to have in your pool anyways. See if there's a bunch of guys on one side of the split, and then play them, and vice versa. Thoughts on Bubba?
Right. Yeah. Right.
So
I have a hard time. I'm not a good Bubba predictor.
I would say there's high upside, but I'm not going there myself. I think lefties just have such a high upside at this course in general. So that if they're clicking that week, I think it's easier than it is for a right-hander. But that said, I don't like the form, so I'm staying away from Bubba.
I think it's completely fine. I didn't get.
I think he's going to be low owned compared to. When you think about the people around him, there's a lot of high ownership guys around him.
The one thing I would say, and this carries over to Thursday as well, but we get so much coverage on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the Masters. People were talking about Hovland missing his putts. Rory was missing his putts. Bubba looks good. Let's not course correct too much from what we've seen like all year. That's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
same with Thursday. I mean, Rory started horrible and finished T5, so a lot can happen. Although there was a tweet today that the winner was in the top 10 like the last 12 years. I think
Yeah,
from
except for Tiger, wasn't it?
CBS, Kevin Porter, I want to
Yeah.
say.
Couple others here. Well, we got Steven Davidson talking about Paulina. I don't think Ogletree's in the field, so I don't think that's coming through. But yeah, I think that's probably a good place for us to leave it.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it. Thank you guys for the support. It's been a great Masters week. We put a Masters playlist together. If you haven't seen anything, check it out. But really appreciate you joining us live. Good luck this week. Let's get a millionaire in this chat. I want to come back, next tournament and someone be like, I won the $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, I want it to be me, but if it's one of you guys, that's the next best.
I would be happy as well.
Yeah.
All right, take care, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Good luck, everyone. Nice to see you. Nice to chat with you, and we'll catch you next time.